welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Podcast. I want you to be rich. Yes, I want abundant financial success for your business. But I don't just care about your business making money. I care about you too. I want you to be rich in happiness, in the impact you make, in your relationships, and in how you give back. I'm Anna. I built my six-figure business as a side hustle while I was pregnant with my daughter in 2016. Now I've helped dozens of women do the same. I'm here to help you build a profitable, heart-centered, fully booked business with the latest tips on sales and visibility, with proven mindset hacks, and sneak peeks behind the scenes with what's working right now in the online space and in my business. Ready to make more money with heart? Let's go. Today, I want to talk about a highly underrated six-figure entrepreneurial business skill, and that is the healthy escape. I am so excited about this episode because this is a conversation I've been having with multiple of my six-figure, multi-six-figure clients, and I just feel like we don't talk about this enough. And if you are in your business and growing your business to six figures and or beyond, we have to have this conversation. So I'm going to share a little bit about my own journey. I hope you walk away with some aha moments. But it really is this idea that, yes, we want to love our business. Yes, we want to work hard when we are working. Yes, we want to figure out how do we be more productive in those hours. But I find for a lot of my clients, this just happens most naturally. They're more passionate in their business. They're more productive in their business. They end up selling more and manifesting more money when they have healthy escapes. So let's talk about it. I want to talk about it in 4 different parts. And the reason I was inspired to do this episode today is because I, this morning, was painting. And you guys know I do my daily check-in. I ask myself 6-ish questions every morning. But something I also do is I just let myself have intuitively a lot of me time. This is helpful because my kids are now in elementary school, so I have a little more time for this. When my kids were not in elementary school, I didn't have as much time for this, but I really feel like so much of the stability I've created in my business over the last 8 years is because I let myself have a lot of escaping. And let me unpack this. So let's talk about the escape mindset, right? You may have heard of doom scrolling or revenge scrolling, or, at the end of the day, we're so exhausted that all we have time for or brain capacity for is like me time scrolling on our phones. And I was really thinking about this. And I think this is because we feel that our safety and worthiness come from work. Right? And some of our safety does come from work, right? We need to work to provide for our families, especially if you're a single mama or breadwinner like me. But I think there's this belief that taking a break is bad or wrong, or we have to be productive for all the time. I shared with you, there was this book that I read in college. I don't want to say the name because I don't endorse the book, but one of the concepts from it is just this idea that as women, we are in kind of our home state when we are resting, and we are most captivating from that place. And I was so offended when I read that book because I just was in like busy bee, productive go mode in corporate land. And I liked my life. I liked my job, right? This was before I did my master's for therapy. But I do think there is this part of us that realized, no, there is part of us that it is okay to sometimes be unproductive and relaxed and calm and, not working, and just this magnetic part of us as women that likes to rest. And I think the online marketing space preys on women in this way when they say like, make passive income, sneeze and make $10,000. I think there's part of us that wants that to be true. Can we just live a life where we don't work and we just rest and we get paid and compensated for that and we're taken care of? And I think it almost taps a little bit into the victim mindset of like, I just want someone to take care of all my needs and I don't want to do the work, right? And I just think it's such a balanced and nuanced conversation, just kind of like processing out loud, right? But what I've seen for my clients, even that make a lot of money in their business, where they kind of get to a place where they don't actually have to work, where they are taken care of, where they have all the money, this other interesting problem pops up for them, which is they also realize I like to work, and work actually makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to help in the world, to give back, to coach people or whatever it is. It feels good to create. As women, it's this balance, right? We need to have this part of rest, but we also need to have this part of contributing to the world. Like that's part of our humanity, right? Until we die, there'll always be part of us, and that's why a lot of times with like senior citizens, there's so much work to give them a way to give back and have purpose, because really we start to get depressed, right? If there isn't that part of that. And it's kind of like the opposite ends of the spectrum, like depression and anxiety, right? Are we going to one way or the other? And it's an important conversation, right? And a lot of times with my clients that are so financially rich and abundant, we talk about like, what is the purpose of life? Like, how do you want to give back? Like, what do you want to spend your time on? What is going to give you meaning? Work gives us meaning. So I think like, let's not villainize work. I did a podcast episode a few times ago, right? About like, instead of saying like, how do I work less? How do I, number one, have better boundaries, but also like enjoy my work more and have more fun, because work is a blessing. It's a blessing to be alive. It's a blessing to be able to work and to do aligned work, right? Anyway, but the opposite of that is working so much that we're not giving ourselves that downtime. And most of you on this podcast episode, especially if you're not making six figures yet, if you're not making multi six figures, you need more of this, which is the healthy escape, more resting, more unplugging, more giving yourself permission not to work when you're not working. And what helps with this, a lot of my clients, what I help them with when we start working together is having more structured work time and work hours. We think that as an entrepreneur, we want a lot of freedom, and we do. But what happens is we don't create any separation between work and life. And then we're working all the time. And we don't have that time when we can unplug from work. And so when I find I help my clients create like 10 structured work hours a week, like whatever it is, like 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., or some of my clients like to work at night. So maybe it's like, in the afternoon to the evening. But when you have these hours where you're like, I am going to work, then when you're not working, you actually can enjoy your life and not feel guilty, right? And so a lot of this starts with like, are you, even as entrepreneurs, we still have to work like 10 hours a week or whatever it is, right? But are you creating those times? And during those 10 hours, are you really focusing on work, or are you like multitasking with personal stuff, right? Okay. So, but what I want today to mostly be about is assuming you've already done that. Maybe you're already working with me and you're like, Anna, yes, check mark. I already have my 12 hours a week. I work Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to noon, check mark. Now I really need to work on this healthy escape mindset. And I'm so excited to talk to you about this. Okay. So recap, right? We feel that taking a break is wrong, right? We get our safety and worthiness from work, but we still need to take a break because we're human. So then we end up doing these escapes that hurt us, that are detrimental to us, right? We're going to take breaks and we're going to escape because we're humans and we need that, right? As a human, our brain cannot be on all the time. We need a way to release. I think about this all the time. I was telling a friend yesterday, my kids are 7 and 9 now. They're getting a little bit older, and it's never come super naturally for me to like spend long extended times playing with them. But lately it's been a lot easier because they're getting older, and I know my days are numbered for them to be in this beautiful childhood place of like imaginative play. So it's been a lot easier when they ask me, when they're tearing apart our living room and making a sailboat out of the cushions, for me to say, yeah, I will play with you, right? For me to say like, lately we've been doing painting, like let's get out the paints and let's just all paint together. And it's just been a lot easier for me because I know like there's something beautiful about a child. They so easily go into that place of play. They so easily go into that place of escape for really the first decade of their life. And that is amazing, right? I think that's part of why children can be so resilient, is because they're naturally part of escape and part of rest, our brains are renewing themselves, right? I have these affirmations for myself when I sleep. And one of them is I renew creativity and solve problems when I sleep, right? Yes, we're productive during work, but when you are resting, and not just resting like, multitasking resting, but truly resting, truly unplugging, whatever that is for you, whether that's working out or laying at the beach or whatever. Our brain is healing. And what's so beautiful about children is they are escaping and healing all the time, right? Their brains are, whether it's getting lost in play or getting not lost. I remember as a child, I would just like lay on the cement in my parents' backyard and just lay and feel the cement. That, we talk about like mindfulness and meditation. And I really think children live in such a meditative state, in a present state, in a like right now, I'm here recording this podcast episode, but I am fully here with you guys. I'm not thinking about the fact that I have to like take my car to the shop after, right? I'm not thinking about, what happened this morning. I'm just here with you and I'm loving you. And I'm just thankful to be here in this podcast in this moment. This is meditation. This is presence. This is flow, right? And I just think like that state, we were like born to be in that. And that is living, that is enjoying life, right? And I think so much we think we have to numb out to get to that place, whether it's with like drugs or doom scrolling or like, whatever it is, that's that numbing. And don't get me wrong, I numb sometimes too, right? Like we all go there. But I just think like it's remembering you can have that release and that bliss and that presence if you give yourself permission to have it and you curate it, right? Okay, I digress. So again, let me finish this point about the mindset, right? We will kind of like sleeping, right? Even if we try to stay up, eventually we'll fall asleep. We need to sleep, right? If we try to not escape, eventually we'll escape because our brain needs that release and that break and that unplugging and that play to restore, to renew, right? And so knowing that like, not only is it safe to take breaks, but it's essential and we need them and it serves us and it's useful. Like I tell a lot of my clients, like taking a break is a money-making task. You're going to come back to work more focused, more productive, right? It's almost like that mindset of like work hard, play hard. I love that mindset because it's like when you're doing your 3 hours of work. When you're doing your play, when you at the end of your workday shut off your phone, put it on your charging dock and forget about work. Enjoy your life. Make your dinner. Go for a run. Watch TV, whatever it is for you, right? So again, changing this mindset of like, it's good to take breaks. It's good to escape, right? I'm all for like a productive procrastination moment. Do you guys know what that is? Basically, it's like, if you're avoiding one task in your business, you become productive doing other tasks. I do that all the time. But also, it's okay to have breaks that are unproductive too, right? Someone needs to hear this out here, aka me. You don't have to monetize all your hobbies, okay? You guys know I am notorious for this, right? A few years ago, probably like 5 or 6 years ago, I got really into embroidering and I still love to embroider. I actually bought when we went to Ireland last month, I bought a new little embroidery set. My needle broke in the plane, but I need to finish that. But anyway, when I was really into embroidery, I started selling embroidery kits at the craft fair. I think like our brains just go to monetizing, right? Or one of my friends was like, you guys know one of my biggest escapes is fitness. And I ended up getting my certification and I teach part-time at the gym now. And someone's like, Anna, I think you said not to monetize your hobby. I'm like, shh. Do what I say, not what I do, right? Anyway, the point is that it can be so easy to want to like make all of our breaks productive, but it's remembering that's literally the point. And I think I got to a place where I had to affirm like it's safe for my breaks to be unproductive, right? Okay. 3 more points. Next point is, again, this reminder of having an exciting life and boring business. If you're a client of mine, like buckle your seatbelt and do not skip past this because I want you to listen again, even if I tell you this all the time in session, right? It's so important that yes, our business makes us happy. And many people, that have a day job that really does not light them up, need more happiness and fulfillment in their work. It is important. But I think as entrepreneurs, our business starts to get so exciting and fulfilling that I think we can forget to also nurture our life, right? And just like any relationship, it's important, yes, for our business to make us happy, but not to be the only thing that makes us happy, because guess what? Sometimes our business won't make us happy. Maybe we'll have a low month or a bad launch, or a client is having a challenging situation with us, or there's a legal scenario, right? Like we also want to bring our happiness into the business. And this is such an interesting dynamic because I think we're soaked in a world where most humans are not fulfilled enough in their work. They need to have that edge. But as entrepreneurs, we have the other edge and sometimes swing the pendulum the other way, right? You're probably like, I did not know I could have this problem, right? But just reminding yourself, like, it's okay to also mostly make your life exciting and have your business be boring in the sense that money loves simplicity. Money loves things that you repeat. In general, ideally, you are repeating the programs in your business that are bringing you money. You are getting visible in the way that you can batch and do ahead of time, right? You are selling in a way that it feels aligned to you and you can rinse and repeat again and again, right? Again, so I just think like when we make our business boring and really profitable, we have margin to make our life exciting. But if your business is giving you this adrenaline rush all the time and not in a good way because of these feast and famine months or whatever, right? Really asking yourself, how do I stabilize my business, right? How do I make sure that I have good boundaries and policies? How do I create structure there? Like I talked about, do I have consistent work hours? Am I finishing my client sessions on time, right? When I tell myself I'm going to batch my social media 2 weeks in advance, am I doing it? And am I scheduling it? That way, I'm not having to like do things last minute. Are you creating that stability in your business? Are you creating that structure? And I think a lot of us hesitate to do that because we get that adrenaline from our business. We get the high, we get the happiness. And instead of reminding ourselves like, hey, we could also get that outside of our business. But it's like that chicken and the egg, and it's hard to create that when you don't have the margin to. Okay. Number 3 is I just want to talk about honoring your season and knowing that escaping is going to look different in every chapter, right? I'm going to give you some practical ideas at the end of this episode. Don't worry. But actually, I can give some now. So when my kids were small, you guys know I launched my business when my son was, how old was he? 2, a little under 2 years old, and my daughter wasn't born yet. I was pregnant, right? Excuse me. So as I was building my business, my healthy escapes looked like a few different things. Number 1, like Target, right? It really looked like errands and being able to like go without the kids or whatever. Like one of my first hires was hiring someone for 6 hours a week to help with my kids so that I could really work more focused. And then when my kids weren't with me, or were with me, I could like focus on them more. I just had this motherhood identity crisis around like I started a business to be with my kids more, but me having a business, I'm not really present with my kids because I'm always multitasking, right? I did a whole episode on this, by the way, on how to hire a nanny and my mindset around hiring childcare. It was a huge struggle for me. So I will put that in the show notes. But it really helped me when I hired that time, gave myself permission to have that child care support at first for like 6 hours a week. And then I gave myself permission to not just work during that time, but have some me time also during that time. Another healthy escape for me early was I would go to the YMCA, love the childcare at the YMCA. Didn't always have like my favorite fitness classes, but mostly I was concerned about like, do my babies have a place that they like to go, that they can be safe, that they have a giant window so I can watch them. I'm just like a very protective mama. And so I would put them in the YMCA childcare and I would either walk on the treadmill on like 0 speed, 1 speed, and listen to my podcast, or I would put my yoga mat in the corner of the YMCA and I would just like lay there on my yoga mat in the corner and like kind of pretend to stretch. And just really taking that time for me. Another healthy escape when my babies were little, and I still do some to this day, was reading blogs. I have 2 blogs that I particularly love. One of them is Shutterbean. I've been following her for like probably almost 10 years now. And she just like posts photos about her life. She posts recipes. She posts, little interesting links to articles, different news things. And it's such a healthy escape for me for times that I wanted to be on my phone. Maybe I was breastfeeding, but I didn't want to be on social media because again, that's such a mixed bag of worms for like, am I going to feel better after I scroll or not versus like Tracy's blog? I always feel better after I read Tracy's blog. It's just such a nice escape, right? So for me, the reason I wanted to give those examples is because we just need to think about our current season. Are you going through a really big health challenge? Do you have small kids at home, right? Your escaping is going to look different than what mine does right now, where my kids are in school 8 to 3. And guess what? I don't work 8 to 3. Like, I don't have that many work hours in my day, but I have that much free time. So I get to fill it with fun things, right? The most important determining factor when figuring out your escapes, AKA, well, these are also hobbies, but you guys know how I renamed the word leads to pre-clients. I'm rebranding, or how I rebranded savings account to freedom fund. I'm rebranding hobbies to escapes. Because I think when we think hobby, there's so much pressure on it, right? And again, we feel like it has to be productive. We feel like we feel guilty for having a hobby. Like, escape just sounds more sexy, right? So are you okay if I rebrand this? Anyway, okay, now I want to talk about. Okay, so the number one definition of an escape or hobby, though, is you need to feel good after. You need to feel good after, and you kind of need to guarantee that you're going to feel good after. Okay. Not that it's perfect, but hear what I'm saying, right? Like, when I was breastfeeding, I knew if I hop on social media, it's a gamble. I might run across some really inspirational content, maybe like, those dog reunification videos, and you start crying and you feel good and you release the oxytocin. Or I might, scroll upon a competitor's post or something and be triggered and be like, oh, here I am and my kids are small and my business isn't far enough ahead, right? Social media is a gamble for me personally when it comes to being an escape. Right. And it's almost this lottery of sometimes you do and so it creates that high, right? That rush. But for me, when I go to Tracy's blog, shutterbean.com, I have never read her blog for 30 minutes and not felt good. Right? Maybe not quite as high as like a dog reunification video, right? But like, I consistently feel good after I read her blog. Another one is Joy the Baker. Obsessed with her blog. Again, another food blog. I don't even bake that much. So here I am watching these blogs. But I always feel good after Joy the Baker's blog, especially her Sunday posts. And I always feel good. I don't always feel good after social media, right? And so again, the biggest definition is it something that you almost always feel good after, right? Okay, so point number 4, again, is remembering you don't have to approach your hobbies like you do work. This is an interesting mindset for me. So right now, my biggest escapes in life are my fitness and my dancing. Dance bachata salsa, and I love doing bar Pilates. Those are my escapes, AKA when I am in a bachata class, I am happy. I sometimes cry. I am listening to the music. I am thinking about nothing else but, number one, trying to keep up with the dance routine because it's challenging for me. It can be challenging, but it has to be fun, right? Same thing with bar Pilates, right? Like, I am listening to the music. For me, music, I'm a big music person. So it helps when my hobbies have music because it really helps me stay focused and present, right? What was I going to say? And then the other thing, again, with the Pilates and bar is it's challenging. So I'm like trying to keep up, trying to do the move. Like, for me personally, it helps when my escapes are kind of demanding because I am an ENFP. I'm someone that's like high energy, high strung. And so I need something to exhaust me. I need something to challenge me. I need something to like bring me to my knees. Like, that's just my personality. That may not be you, right? But I need something to make me, I am a high achieving smart woman, and I need something to challenge me, and I need someone to challenge me, right? I also love people. And so again, do you notice both those hobbies are with a teacher in charge? I don't have to be in charge. I just get to show up. They tell me what to do. They're telling me to lift my foot, right? They're telling me to move my hip that way for the dance move. Like, and so seeing these commonalities, for me, it's music. For me, it's being with other women, right? I love women. So for me, the fact that my dance class is almost always with all women, my fitness is almost always with all women, I love that I get to be in community. I love that I get to be challenged. I love that I get to be told what to do. I love that there's music. All those things for me make it a really good, consistent escape. Again, this may be different for you. You may like more solo time, right? Or for me, as a single mama right now, I'm not married. I don't naturally have a lot of community unless I go out and get it. You may, like, maybe you have a large family, right? Like, maybe you have like 6 siblings that live next to you, and like maybe you have 4 kids. Like, your hobby may be like painting by yourself, right? Like, again, don't do what I'm doing, but kind of try to see the common threads and the common grounds. And I hope that in my examples, you can see what's going to work for you. Not necessarily that you need to go like take a bachata class or take a Pilates class. Though, if you are looking at starting somewhere, those are amazing hobbies. And I've gotten a lot of my friends into both of them, right? Anyway, here's the other thing about the escape that I have to underscore and underline. Your hobbies, this is my personal opinion. You need to be able to bring a different work ethic and personality and persona and set of standards to who you are in your hobbies than who you are in your work life and your personal life. Let me say what I mean by this, right? I really like, for the most part, a hobby that if I'm feeling like stressed or busy this week, I can cancel it, right? For the last 2 months, I've been working on some behind the scenes projects in my business. And so I've been working a little bit extra, right? Normally I work like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's when I have all my clients, and just a little bit on Monday, Friday. But I've been working a little more on Monday, Fridays, right? On these like projects that I'm bringing to life. So honestly, I've been like sleeping a little bit more. I just been in a little bit more of a work mode in a way that I've chosen. And so I've been pulling back on the dance a little bit, right? Because the last thing I need to do is for it to be something else I need to do or an obligation, right? So often I'll like pay the late cancel fee for fitness if I need to skip Pilates because I want to sleep in, right? Or maybe I was like working a little bit extra. And so I just want to like go for a walk or do something and unplug instead of like going to a fitness class where I have to be around people, right? Both my dance and my fitness, except for the one class I teach a week, right? I'm able to cancel all of those. And when I cancel all my dance classes and skip my dance socials and cancel my fitness classes, I gain back like 10 hours in my week. And it's so nice to have that buffer time. Where I feel like women start to put themselves in a bind is they start to sign up for hobbies that are uncancelable, or they say like, oh, I don't want to flake out, or I don't want to disappoint that one teacher, or like, no, the whole point is that it's something fun and life-giving. And the minute it doesn't become life-giving, you quit, you cancel, you release, you backpedal. It's okay for you to be flaky on your hobbies. It's mandatory for you to be flaky on your hobbies. And you have to pick hobbies that you can flake on. You have to pick a hobby where you need to say, like for me, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to work out today. I just rather take a nap, right? I don't want to, take that dance class right now. I'd much rather go on a walk, right? Your hobbies have to be cancelable. And I really had to check my work ethic, because when I first started doing dance and fitness, I was almost coming to it from this like religious, black and white thinking place, or like I'm pretty disciplined when it comes to work, which is good. But I was almost transferring too much discipline there and being like, the whole point is that I can cancel, that I can flake, that I don't owe anyone anything. And maybe some people in my dance world or my fitness world might think I'm a little bit flaky, right? I'm not saying be like rude or anything, right? But like I am a little flaky in my dance and in my fitness, right? But that's because I need that 10 hours a week to be life-giving, to be self-caring, and again, like when I allow myself to step out, it's easy to step in again. So really look at where that hobby starts to become an obligation, because you're either trying to monetize it or turn it into a business, or, maybe you're having like a false sense of like responsibility around it. Like, no, you are the client. Like you are the participant. Like you're the one that's supposed to be enjoying it. And if you're not enjoying it, it might be time to change it up or change the way you're approaching it or whatever, right? So I hope that that's helpful for you. Again, I want to just open up this conversation. So email me or send me a DM and tell me either what your healthy escapes are in this season, in this chapter, or if you need to date some escapes. You guys know I'm a big fan of this dating mentality when it comes to hiring new team members, right? Like when I hire new babysitters or nannies, right? I put out the job description, I FaceTime 5 different people, I have 3 different people come to my house and try them out. Like it's an extensive process to hire anyone, whether it's a babysitter or an OBM, right? But Same thing with your hobbies. I know that when you have to try things on and some aren't going to work, to find the person that does work. Same thing with your hobby. You're going to have to date some hobbies to find the one that does work for you. But when you find it, it's going to be a match made in heaven. And it's so worth it because it's a money-making task that's going to build your business, right? Same thing with like friends. Maybe you're in a chapter of like needing more friendships. It takes time to date friends and, make new relationships, but it's worth it. So if you're in a place that you don't have that healthy escape, brainstorm and start by just doing a brain dump of some of the things maybe you did as a child, maybe some of the things you enjoy, right? And really dabble with some things. I dabbled with lots of different things really before I found bachata dance and before I really dove into my bar and Pilates fitness. For a little while, I did voice acting growing up. And so I was like, ooh, maybe I can do voice stuff again. But again, I felt like it was too much of that line of like becoming a job again. And it just wasn't the fit for a hobby for me. Right. And so just again, giving yourself permission to brain dump. What are some of the things maybe you like to do as a little girl? That's one prompt. Another prompt is, what are some of the things you're curious about? And just trying a few and starting to see those common threads. Right? Again, for me, the threads are like, it includes music, it includes community, it includes all women, it includes someone telling me what to do, it includes a challenge, right? It includes a challenge, but I can also half-ass it, right? If in my Pilates class I'm not feeling it, I just do my best, right? Like, yes, I'm being challenged, but also sometimes I just like half-ass it half the class, right? Like, so I think it's just finding those things for you and then reminding yourself it's safe to do it. And when you do it, you're going to get the breaks, you're going to get the escape, but in a way that builds you up instead of like a way that makes you feel guilty about. Not that there's anything wrong with social media or anything like that. And you guys know I have a workbook called The Phone Detox that helps you like detox from your phone and have healthy boundaries. I should probably redo it again myself, right? But I think the point is remembering that's actually less necessary when you have a healthy escape, right? A lot of times when we're trying to like give ourselves more discipline or more structure, like if we actually fix the problem, we wouldn't need as much structure. If you were feeling super lit up in your hobbies, you naturally would be more exhausted and wouldn't even have time to doom scroll, right? So I just think this is a useful conversation for you to have, especially if you, again, are serious about having a multi-six-figure, $1 million business. You're going to need this. So start it now. I would love to invite you to, if you are working on building your six-figure business and you are making at least $2,000 a month, that is the policy, then you are eligible for my mastermind, Sell with Heart. And I would love to invite you to apply, enjoy this small group of women. They are just high vibe, amazing, strategic, smart women who love to work, who love to make money, but also want a happy, boring dream life, right? They don't want to work all the time. I always call it a small six-figure business, right? Something where you can really put it on the back burner when you need to, when your life necessitates it. And I would love to invite you in. So what you do if you're interested is you apply. It's a 10-minute application. It's a great process, even if you decide not to join us, because the 10-minute application really helps you have that CEO time to ask yourself, what do I need next to thrive and succeed this year in my business and make more money and be happier, honestly. And then I'll take a look at it. I'll give you feedback no matter what. But if you are a fit, if it is a fit for your business, I would love to invite you to join us in the mastermind. We do 3 calls a month, and I really keep it lean as far as what is required so you don't feel like you're behind, but there's lots of support, lots of resources. And me, I'm in there a lot personally. I don't have a support coach in there. It is me coaching you because I really find that program to be the crown jewel of my business, to be my heartbeat, and the program I really love spending time in. So feel free to let me know if you have any questions about the mastermind, or just fill out an application. Only takes 10 minutes, doesn't obligate you to anything, and gives you that focus. Again, it doesn't take long to work in your business, just 10 minutes of CEO time, right? 3 hours of work. Do that focused work, and then you can have that play. You can have that escape. Okay. Have a beautiful Tuesday. I love you ladies so much. If no one's told you lately that they love you, just know that it's true. I love you. I have so much love and protective and loving energy for you. And just know that I am sending you the biggest hugs. Thanks for hanging out today. Please hit that subscribe button so you can make sure to stay updated anytime a new episode drops. And I would love for you to join me in my free Facebook community. It's called The Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. We discuss the podcast episodes. I regularly go live and do free trainings. And you may even meet your newest biz bestie. So you can join at heartcenteredcommunity.com. It's absolutely free, and I cannot wait to see you in there.